Hi, my name is Michael Charles Carolan, and I was born in Kansas City, Missouri. And I live now in Belchertown, Massachusetts, a long way from Kansas City, obviously. And I teach writing. I'm a professor of practice at Clark University. And what I'm going to read to you is an essay that's an excerpt from a longer essay that won the Crossroads Irish American Festival Writing Prize in 2011. And so this is the essay, part of that essay that was published in the Philadelphia Inquirer on March 12th of 2011. And so I will read it. I am perpetually hungry. Between meals, my energy slumps and my stomach churns. Within seconds, the pang is a gut-wrenching emptiness. I lose perspective, blame objects, people, the weather. My father taught me to have crackers and peanut butter on hand. I also cringe at half-eaten plates of spaghetti left by my son, oatmeal that doesn't make it into my daughter's breakfast bowl. Don't waste that, I say. Finish your plate. I've come to believe that my appetite and respect for every morsel of food is passed down from my ancestors. My surname happens to be a brand of tasty Irish cream liqueur. A 17th century harper named O'Carolan wrote Mozart-like compositions beloved to this day. But I don't drink anymore, and I am no musician. What makes me Irish still is the daily stomach growl, the connection to the processing of life, the sustaining of blood, bones, sinew. My great-great-grandfather, you see, after all, was among the Famine Irish, arriving when he was just 3 years old. When I was 25, I visited my Aunt Anne in Florida. Irish, she would say, have a way of exercising one's sense of humor whenever possible, and of wearing the world loosely, especially in the bad times. She showed me the only photograph of my great-great-grandfather Michael. He is thick-necked and wears a broad sack coat. His beard is bushy, making him look more Russian than Irish. Tolstoy comes to mind. His face resembles the turn-of-the-century Philadelphia blacksmith that he was. Shortly after that visit, I found the ship record of Michael's arrival in New York on July 27th of 1847, and then every paper trace of him rose to greet me when I sought it. The pounds of potatoes, Irish, produced by the Hatboro farm upon which the family settled, 2,500. His membership in the Montgomery County Society for the Recovery of Stolen Horses and Bringing Thieves to Justice. The number of children delivered by his wife in the year 1900, 18. Still living children, 6. The hour at which carriages met the trolley for his funeral at St. Veronica's in 1906, 8 p.m. One night last winter, I entered Michael's information into an internet site of Irish church records. The screen quickly showed a likely match. Kells, County Meath. Spellbound, I thought for a second that someone made it up and posted it online just for me. You see, Kells Parish is an hour northwest of Dublin by automobile and is noted for its ancient monastery and illuminated Book of Kells. The population there dropped 38% during the famine. My family left in 1847, first for England and then to New York, on the three-masted ship Patrick Henry. Its captain, Joseph Clement Delano, was a great-uncle of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and we've been Democrats ever since. 55 years later, we became Protestants. When Aunt Anne was born in 1902, her father, Matthew William, was slow in getting her down to the priest for baptism. So her mother, Wilhelmina, a German immigrant, wheeled Anne's pram to the Lutheran church while Matthew William was at the bar. An uncle later joked. Not long after my trip to Florida, Anne's brother, my Uncle Bud, called to say that he was coming east. Would I drive him to his old Philadelphia neighborhood? Uncle Bud was really Matthew George, born on Wyoming Avenue in 1904, delivered by the same doctor who attended the death of our ancestor Michael, once the 3-year-old famine ship passenger, 2 years later. We drove through the Feltonville section of town and pulled up in front of a brick row house. A couple of African-American kids bounced by with a basketball. Next door was a boarded up house spray painted with graffiti. "Look what they've done to the neighborhood," Uncle Bud said. "What?" I asked. "What'd they do?" "They've ruined it, these damn people." He was referring to the Puerto Ricans and the Koreans, the African Americans and the Vietnamese. I could have told him that our own ancestor Michael was considered one of the damned people by others once, and that our people had had a good run. They came from very little, seasick and with no money, and hardly a scrap to eat. They had risen up, married, had children, grandchildren, and assimilated. Now it was the turn of the other damned people. But I kept all that to myself. I don't think he would have understood. What he did understand that day, sitting in my Subaru a year before his death, was that he was hungry. My Uncle Bud grinned and asked whether I had anything to eat. And I realized that I too was famished, but I didn't have any peanut butter and crackers. So I took him instead to the safe and the familiar, an American fast food restaurant. Okay, so that's the